The lights above the Galactic Council chamber flickered, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Something was wrong. The air felt too quiet. The delegates from hundreds of alien races sat frozen in their seats, their eyes fixed on the empty chair marked with Earth's symbol. Earth had been summoned, not invited. Summoned to explain its sudden rise, its violent history, and its growing power across the stars. But Earth didn't respond the way others did. They didn't send a diplomat, a scientist, or a politician. They sent just one man. The chamber doors hissed open. Heavy boots echoed across the silver floor. A lone figure walked in, broad shoulders, scar across his face, eyes that had seen war and worse. No introduction, no fear. Just silence. His name was Dane Keller, a Marine. And when he sat in that empty chair without asking for permission, the room grew colder. Someone whispered, "This is Earth's answer." No one replied. Because even without speaking, Dane had already changed everything, and soon the Council would wish they'd never asked Earth to explain anything at all. Dane Keller didn't speak. He just sat there, calm, still, like a weapon waiting to be drawn. Every alien eye watched him. His armor was worn but clean, his face unreadable. Council guards adjusted their rifles. Even the bravest delegates felt uneasy. They were used to leaders who bowed, begged, or bragged. Dane did none of that. Instead, he reached into a pouch on his hip and placed a small black cube on the glowing council table. It clicked once. Then silence again. He finally spoke, his voice low, clear, and sharp. "This is Earth's explanation." The cube came to life. Holograms lit the chamber, cities in ruins, wars burning across Earth's surface, screams, bombs, and then peace, rebuilding progress. Some aliens stared in awe, others in horror. Then one delegate stood, a tall, cold-blooded figure with scaled skin and golden eyes, Commander Verax of the Varnak. "This proves our fears," he growled. "Earth is a violent, dangerous infection. It must be contained." But Dane didn't flinch. He looked right at Verax and said, "No, this proves we survived now. It's your turn to listen." And the cube kept playing. But what it showed next would stop the council cold. Part 3. The Varnak Accusation. Third-person style, cinematic tone, simple and suspenseful for YouTube shorts. The cube's next projection silenced the room. It wasn't just Earth's wars. It showed alien ships in Earth's orbit, some attacking, some crashing. It showed classified footage of Black Ops missions, of Earth's secret defense units intercepting invasions in deep space, and winning. Earth had been fighting off threats. For years, quietly, efficiently. The Council didn't know. Or maybe they didn't want to know. Commander Verax slammed his hand on the table. "This is a threat. Earth is hiding military power, building without permission, growing without control." He pointed a long claw at Dane. "You pretend to be survivors, but you're conquerors. You don't belong in this galaxy." Dane stood, calmly, no weapon in hand, just truth. "We didn't start those fights, but we ended them." He pressed the cube again. Now the hologram showed Earth rescuing alien civilians, saving crashed vessels, delivering aid after solar flares, asteroid strikes, even to species that once tried to invade them. And then, a voice from the cube, not human, Varnak. A recording, Commander Verax himself, years ago, ordering a covert attack on a human colony. Gasps filled the room. Dane looked at him coldly. "You want to talk about who the real threat is?" Verax didn't respond, but his eyes were full of rage, and the rest of the Council started to see Earth differently. The Council chamber turned tense. Commander Verax's scales flared with color, a Varnak sign of fury. His voice boomed across the hall. Earth is dangerous. They hide their weapons. They interfere in conflicts. They rise too fast, and they don't follow our laws. He pointed at Dane. That creature is not a diplomat. He's a soldier. This alone proves Earth came here with aggression in its heart. Dane didn't move. He watched calmly as Verax slammed a clawed hand on the table. I demand a vote now. Earth must be restricted. No more colonies. No more ships beyond their system. Other delegates murmured. Some nodded. Some looked unsure. But Dane finally spoke, his voice sharp like a blade. You're afraid of us because we didn't fall. You tried to bury us before we even entered this room. You failed. He tapped the cube again. New footage appeared, clear, undeniable. A Varnak ship cloaked in Earth's orbit, firing first. A timeline, audio files. Orders signed by Verax himself, proof of a failed invasion. The room exploded with voices, shouting, protests, disbelief. Dane didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. You wanted an explanation, he said. That's mine. Now let's talk about yours. And Verax's silence was louder than any scream. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Some alien delegates shouted at Verax. Others demanded the hearing be paused. A few stared at Dane, unsure if they were seeing a hero or a warning. But something had changed. Earth was no longer the silent outsider. Earth had spoken, with evidence, strategy, and calm fury. A blue-skinned diplomat from the Jarian Republic stood. This human speaks with reason. If Earth was attacked first, we must investigate before we judge. A spider-like creature from the Javaran cluster hissed. Humans are unstable, but they fight for survival. That deserves respect. But others disagreed. They're too advanced now, one shouted. Their military is spreading. They interfere in other worlds. They might dominate us all. Dane said nothing. He let the storm grow. Let them reveal what they truly feared. Meanwhile, far above the chamber, deep in orbit, the Varnak made their move, a hidden fleet uncloaked near the outer rim, dozens of warships already moving toward Earth. Verax wasn't waiting for a vote. He wanted Earth silenced, forever. But what he didn't know was that Earth had seen it coming, and Dane, he was already prepared. Dane stood alone at the center of the council chamber. Arguments raged around him, delegates yelling, alliances breaking, accusations flying. But he didn't flinch. Hidden beneath his collar, a small light blinked twice. A signal. Earth had received his message, and Earth was already moving. Dane touched the side of his neck and spoke without moving his lips. Phase 2 confirmed. Intercept quietly. No casualties unless provoked. No one in the chamber noticed. He looked at Verax and said aloud, You wanted to erase us before this meeting even started, but Earth doesn't wait to be attacked. He pressed the cube one last time. The hologram changed, now showing live footage from deep space. The council chamber gasped. Earth's stealth ships, sleek, black, silent, had intercepted the Varnak fleet near the outer system. One by one, the Varnak ships lost power. Their engines shut down, their weapons locked in place, no explosions, no deaths, just control. The council watched in shock as the footage zoomed in on the lead Earth ship. Its message blinked across the screen. De-escalation complete. We are not your enemy, unless you insist. Dane looked around the silent chamber. This is how Earth responds, he said, not with fear, not with speeches, with action. And no one dared interrupt him. The council chamber had gone completely silent. Dozens of alien species watched in disbelief as the live hologram showed the Varnak fleet, disabled, floating, powerless in deep space. No ships destroyed, no lives lost, just perfect precision. An elder from the Kalari species whispered, They didn't even fire a single shot. Dane turned toward the council. You call us dangerous, but danger doesn't mean chaos. It means control. He stepped forward, his voice calm. but sharp like steel. We could have destroyed them, but we didn't. We don't need to prove power through blood. The projection changed again, showing Earth ships towing the disabled Varnak vessels back to neutral space, peacefully, respectfully. The chamber filled with unease. Some delegates were stunned, others impressed. Verax stood, fists clenched, eyes burning. "You're manipulating the council with theater," he shouted. "This is human deception." Dane didn't even look at him. He faced the rest of the council. "We've made mistakes, we've started wars, and ended them. But today, we showed you something different." He paused. "Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy, but we will never let it rule us." And suddenly, the council wasn't just listening. They were considering Earth. For the first time in galactic history, a human had changed the room. Dane didn't sit. He walked slowly around the center of the chamber, his boots echoing on the polished floor. "You've seen what we can do," he said, "but you haven't seen what we've been through." He tapped the cube again. The hologram shifted. This time, it showed Earth's worst moments: nuclear wars, cities turned to ash, climate collapse, genocides, AI rebellions, civil wars, starvation, gasps. Filled the chamber. Even the harshest alien leaders looked away. "You think we rose without pain?" Dane said quietly. "No. We earned everything through fire, and we fixed what we broke." The projection changed again. Now it showed recovery. Humans planting trees in deserts, rebuilding underwater cities, shaking hands after centuries of hate. He turned toward the delegates. "We don't hide from our darkness. We carry it, and we use it to build something better." A feathered alien ambassador leaned forward. "You survived all that, and still reached the stars?" Dane nodded once. "We never stopped moving. That's why we're here, and why we won't be stopped now." The chamber was still. No one could look at Earth the same way again, not after seeing the truth. And Verax, he was no longer in control of the room. The council floor had changed. The fear of Earth had become respect, even curiosity. Some delegates stood to speak. "We judged them too early," said one. "They're not perfect," said another. "But neither are we. Earth should have a voice," a third added. "They've earned it." A silent vote began. Lights flashing, symbols rising in the air. Dozens of hands and claws and tentacles cast their choices, and then someone stood to make one last protest. "Commander." Verax. His voice was sharp with hatred. "This is madness. We are inviting chaos into this chamber. Earth is poison with a smile. They will destroy everything we built." He reached beneath his robe, a weapon, small, hidden, deadly. He moved fast, but Dane was faster. In one motion, the Marine spun forward, grabbed Verax's wrist, twisted and slammed him to the floor. The weapon clattered away, gasps exploded across the chamber. Dane didn't strike again. He just stood over the Varnak leader and said, "You wanted a reason to attack Earth. You just gave us another reason not to trust you." Guards rushed in. Verax was dragged out, shouting, and then the vote screen lit up. Finalized. Earth approved for council membership, not by fear. Not by force, but because one Marine changed everything. A low chime echoed through the chamber. The vote was done. Above the center podium, a glowing symbol appeared, Earth's flag, slowly rising among the stars of other council worlds. Delegates stood, some in silence, some in awe. A few even clapped, hesitant but real. Dane Keller watched without emotion, but behind his still face his mind was already moving ahead. A council official approached him. "You will now speak for Earth. What will your first act be?" Dane looked at the galaxy map above them. So many lights, so many secrets. "First," he said, "we listen. The chamber was confused. Some leaned forward. "Then we prepare," he continued, "because something's coming. Something none of you are ready for." A whisper moved through the delegates. "What do you mean?" one asked. Dane tapped the cube. One last recording played. A transmission. Not from Earth. Not from the Varnak. Something older, deeper, buried in static. A voice, distorted and alien, echoed through the hall. "Earth has awakened too early. Stop them before they bring the others." The room froze. Even the bravest species looked shaken. Dane shut the cube. "You asked for the truth," he said. "You're not going to like the rest." And now, the real threat was just beginning. The council chamber was silent. The transmission echoed in their minds. "Stop them before they bring the others." Dane stepped forward, eyes cold. "You think Earth was your biggest problem? No. We're just the first ones to survive long enough to hear them." A new hologram bloomed above the chamber. Dark space, no stars. Then movement. Shapes drifting between galaxies. Massive, ancient, nothing like the Varnak or any known race. "These aren't invaders," Dane said. "They're cleaners. They erase civilizations that grow too fast. We found the ruins. We decoded the warnings. That's why Earth started preparing. The Council panicked. 'Why didn't you tell us?' one delegate cried. 'Would you have listened?' Dane replied. He tapped the cube again. Earth's defense plan appeared. Star fleets, planetary shields, deep space outposts, not to conquer, to survive. "You thought we were building weapons for war," he said. "We weren't. We were building for what's coming next." And now the Council understood. Earth didn't want to rule the galaxy. Earth wanted to save it. Dane looked at them one last time. "Your war with Earth is over. Now you need us." Behind him, the human flag glowed brighter because Earth was ready, and the others were already on their way.